Good everyone, today's video today it's a review on the Japanese BF-109 E-7. Now, when I was actually planning to review the Japser, and well, you'd have already seen the Japser review, I should say. Um, Originally I was going to get the Japser and the BF-109 the same day, but I thought, well, the Corsair, it's good anyway, but I really want to see what I can push out of this E7. And to put it simply, this thing is probably one of the best premiums you can get your hands on. Obviously, it does have its quirks, but we'll go over that. Don't you worry, we'll go over that. But we've obviously going to be reviewing this aircraft, and obviously, should I think you get it and everything? Short answer, hell to the yes. You need to get your hands on this plane. So the Japanese BF-109 E-7 used to be, I believe it was an E3 back in the day. And back in the day, you wouldn't want the E3, trust me. But now that it's been upgraded to the E7 model, you get the much better cannons. And these cannons, whilst they're not the greatest at long range, they're lethal up close and personal. Now, in this battle that I probably had about 5 minutes ago, if that, was probably one of the best flights that I've had in a long time. Although not for my team, as you're going to see. So, let's go over the aircraft. So, obviously, I've covered it in the first flight, which was quite some months ago now, which just proves how little I've been playing my premiums lately. And essentially, the BF-197 was the last one that I covered in my first flight slash drives. And, well, it was the third to last one that I covered, sorry. And I'm sort of glad I did, because this thing is amazing, to put it simply. So we are armed with two 20mm MG-FFMs, which are the medium short ammo, so you get better ammo for a start. The cannons have the same velocity as the FF, so you don't tend to feel that much of a difference in terms of velocity, so at the end of the day, it's just personal preference if you want the E7's guns like this. Now, you also get two 7.92s with 2,000 rounds of ammo in total, so 1,000 per gun. Now, should you split your guns in this aircraft? Questionable. In this battle, I didn't, and I'm sort of glad I didn't. I mean, the extra weight of shot of having the MGs is nice, and it really depends on what you're fighting. Obviously, in this battle, I did want to keep all the guns firing because um, the team collapsed, as you're going to see. It was just me and a Key 45 left because some retard and a Zero decided to chase a Boomer. When I told them not to, but naturally they're just idiots. But yeah, I really think if you're a Japanese player and you need a premium, I would actually say the E7's better over the Japs here. Now, I know to some people that may seem a bit stupid, but I just prefer the 109's flight style. The Corsair is all well and good, but once that radial's hit, you're gonna know about it and it will barely fly back to base. At least with the E7, it's lighter, it has a powerful engine to get it home, and just overall, it felt better to fly. I don't think I could have done this, what I'm going to show you, in the Japser. You probably could, but you'd have to have flown it very differently. And that's the thing, because I'm suited to BF-109s, I'm naturally going to have a sort of bias, shall we say, to this aircraft. But before we begin, obviously, I haven't actually finished the market distinction, so as usual, stats are subject to change. But trust me, this thing is well worth your time. I mean, there's a Jeps here, which I think I've flown it a couple more times. But then look, I mean, yeah, I've had 3 losses, but 1 death, 33 air kills, 34 ground targets. That just proves exactly what this plane is capable of in the good hands of a good pilot. And I really encourage people, if you're a fan of 109s and you need a 109 premium, get this thing. Or the Hungarian one in I think that's the Italian tech tree. That's another good aircraft to pick up, the G2. Because honestly, you won't regret it. And this E7, even though it's only a rank 2 in Japan, it will still get you to rank 3, where you've got some really good aircraft like the A6M3, the A6M5, the B7A2, the Kia 108, even though Jenga doesn't like that aircraft. We once had a bit of banter about this aircraft. It was actually rather funny. And then you have the Repu, or Repu, or whatever you say it. I mean, there are some stinkers, like these Key 61s, but to be honest, you can make these work if you have at least one brain cell. But then, after you've gotten to here, and you want to go into rank 4 and rank 5, I'd probably say the J2M5 or the Japelwolf, to be honest. But yeah, this aircraft is definitely worth your time. I know I probably blubbered a bit too much in that intro, but trust me, this is probably one of the best premiums I own. And that's a fact. Now, there are better premiums, obviously. There's well, I mean, some might argue the Key 108 or Key 102 is worse. It has better flight performance than the BF-109 in terms of like speed, climbs about the same, turns a bit better. But just overall, it is literally down to your personal preference. However, because I'm a better 109 pilot than I am a Corsair pilot, I would naturally go for the BF-109 over the Corsair. Now, that's not to say the Japsair is bad. Far from it. It's amazing because it actually gets decent teams for the most part. There's a good reason why I say that. You're going to see in this battle. And it just goes from there, really, folks. And it is honestly your personal preference. Now, if you're going to carry a team, you would probably want the Japsair for it. But the one that can do work as well. Reason why I say the Japsair is because the Japsair is a bit more multi-purpose. Because on this sort of map, there's a lot of pillboxes and there's quite a few tanks. And obviously the 109's weapons are not sufficient to deal with, I mean they can do it, but it'll take some time to deal with pillboxes. Bit of a graphical glitch there. Typical Gaijin. But that's just how it is, and obviously I actually panicked here because I saw the spotlight and I thought it was Tracer Fire for some reason. I don't know, and I thought it was one of these two Zeros taking pot shots at me or something, so I was watching behind me. Is with the sheer amount of team killing and trolling going on, you have to be situationally aware. So, yeah. But in this battle, obviously, you can see there, we've got two guys who haven't even spawned in. I reckon it's because they weren't top dog. Because this was a 3-3 game? I think it was. I think it was a 3-3. Yeah, 3-3. Because there's a A6M2 and a Focke-Wulf. So obviously, you can see here, like, the E-7 is one of the lighter BF-109s, as far as I'm aware. And it's also, I think it's got the most powerful engine in the E-series as well. You can see, that E4 down there, he's struggling. That F1 over there, he's struggling. I'm keeping on trucking. Like, this thing really does want to climb. It is like a homesick angel. Stick her nose up, get into the sky, and keep her there. Never dogfight at low altitude. Never dogfight anyway, unless it's something you know you can outturn. Which you're going to see in this example of this replay and this review against this P-43 Lancer here. So, less of my blabbering. Let's jump us ahead a little bit, shall we? Because I realise I blabber a bit too much. Now you're going to see this guy later, Warrior Wild Wolf. He's in a Chinese Key 61. Fortunately, I don't get very good hits on him. You notice the sparks there. The MG FFMs are good, but they do have that problem. So, first victim was to Mr. Warrior Wild Wolf in his Key 61. He's just shot down a BF-109E. There's a P-39 currently feeding on our bombers. He's just ate a Condor. And we're about to, well, one of the Zeros, who is actually that guy as well, Froley X, you're going to see him later. Condor's just been eaten, so that's one less bomber. Not like the bomber's going to do much. I think they kill all three bases like they should, but they could at least try and defend against the planes, because they never fired a shot at the enemy aircraft that intercepted them. Never fired a shot. Like, if I know I'm probably fucked in a bomber, I'm at least going to try and cripple or kill the enemy aircraft involved. And you can just see what a furball this is developing into. So, I don't know what I was thinking here. I decided to target the P-40, yet I was at lock-up speed. I should have continued on for the Zero, to be brutally honest. And that is going to cost my teammate his aircraft in the A6M2. I don't know why I thought that was smart. And right here, I thought I hit a teammate with a stray cannon round, so I was getting all panicky. But obviously, I've got the energy, and I for some reason left my flaps down at this point. But this is the thing, like, the team is getting involved with aircraft that turn much better. I mean, that boomerang, fair enough, I feel sorry for him, but he's at least going to be able to outturn my team. So I was thinking, I don't really want to waste cannon on you. I'm going to waste cannon on you when the MGs start doing no damage, which they are hit and miss with Universal. I've heard tracer rounds are pretty good, but it's just personal preference. And right here is where the P-43 comes in. So I reverse onto him, score a couple of hits, those were the MGs though, and the F4F down there has just team killed the Chinese A6M2. Great job. But I knew I could kill the P-43 to turn, so I kept the turn on, and well, he's not happy. First kill. And the assist, by the way, is, I think it was on, I can't remember what that was on. But the P-40 from earlier that I blew his elevators off with the 20mm cannon, he goes down as well. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, what can I do here? Because there are 3 enemy aircraft in this area. There's the Boomerang, there's the Wildcat, and there's the Key-61 from earlier. Now, naturally, I would want to deal with the Key-61 first, but I didn't have a monkey's as to where he was. And obviously I could see all 3 of them. Well, I could see 2 of them, but I didn't know where the 3rd one was. It turns out the Key-61 is going to arrive in a moment. F4F turns around. I decided to go for the Boomerang. I felt sorry for him. And at this point, I pull it vertical, because I've got the energy to do so. What I didn't realise until around this moment, the Key-61 was coming in, and I was thinking, shit, okay, this is going to get a bit interesting, because he's got basically the same engine as me, if not a little bit less powerful. And at this point, I'm out of cannon. F4F gets crit by me, he's soon going to crash. And at this point, it's a game of chasey, chasey, catchy, catchy, killy, killy, as the Mighty Jingles would say. And there goes the Wildcat for kill number 4. And at this point, I'm thinking, shit, because that guy's behind me. Obviously, a Key-61 can run you down, but I soon learn why this guy didn't run me down. If you saw for the split second, if you go back a couple of seconds in the video, see if you can see what he's done to basically stop him from continuing pursuit. If you can't be bothered, I'll tell you. He had a jammed gun. And not only that, he also was stock. This was his 2nd flight in the Key-61, which still, it went better than the first, looking at his stat card and all that. Let's hope he sprayed in it, because, well, I like the Key-61, I do. It's a nice aircraft. But anyway, so at this point, I decided, right, I'm going to head back to base. There's not really much I can do for this team, like, with just MGs at the moment, so I want to go back, get some cannon ammo, and get myself prepared, because obviously I've took a couple of hits, and just in general, that's just how it was. And I heard the engine sound of something that's just a B-34. I wasn't too concerned about him. He's going to be a bit of a pest later on. Landing the BF-109 is really nothing special. If you've landed a 109, you've landed this thing. It's really simple to fly and land this aircraft. So, right there, you can see the Key-45 and also the Zero. Now, I'd like to point out what I said in chat. I said, leave the B-34, we can deal with him last. The Zero breaks off the B-34, and this B-34 must have had a case of the rabies, because he was being very aggressive this game. If you don't understand that, just get Derp Angel to talk about it. He'll tell you what that means. And, yeah, to put it simply, he just was so silly about everything. And look at him, he's going straight up to the B-34, he's spotted the P-39, and the P-39 is about to rip his face off because he just did not pay attention. Why on God's green earth did you ever think that was smart? And typically, I put in chat a sarcastic sigh, because I was just like, you're in one of the better aircraft on my team. I mean, the only poor sod who's left is a Key-45 tie. which is complete dog shit, just to point out. In case you've never flown it, it's complete crap. Don't fly it. I've spaded it. I spaded it as a derper for good bloody reason. So at this point, the B-34 and Pokrashkin's P-39 are wanting to team up on me. The P-39 scores a couple of hits with the 50 cals, but obviously I have the, on average, better maneuverability than him. And I wait until he gets right at the gun sight, pull the trigger, and blows off a wingtip. He soon bails out of his aircraft. I don't think Alexander Pokrashkin would be happy about that one. Now at this point, I decided I'm going to leave the boomer. The boomer I don't care about. Where's that Key 61? That's my priority target at the moment. And this is the mentality that this team did not have. They just kept dogfighting aircraft that were more maneuverable than them. They were also chasing boomers, as that A6M2 soon found out to be a bad case. But now it's down to me and that Key 45, who's been trying to bomb ships the whole game and has been failing massively. That just proves how useless that aircraft is if it can't even sink a destroyer. Which, I mean, I'd have probably gone for pillboxes on this map and maybe some AAA with the 37mm in the nose, but even so. Obviously, I'm in a 109, I want to keep my altitude. And, well, I've already spotted the Key 61 from a couple of miles back. So, obviously he is priority target. I'd rather deal with him first than the B-34. And like I say, I've still got plenty of cannon ammo to deal with this guy. Now he does do some good maneuvers here, but obviously I can follow them, but I wouldn't advise following him. And there we go, snapped his wing in half, and he's gonna fall into a flat spin and bail out in just a moment. Now B-34, again, case of the rabies. I mean, my I've noticed more Stuka pilots have been getting more aggressive lately. And this is the kind of bomber pilot you want on your team, the one that goes balls deep and helps their team. I mean, he's killed 2 bases and he's helped his team out, but unfortunately, there wasn't much he could have done in that regard. And we end with a nice bit of sunset as the BF-109 flies back into the land of the rising sun, even though with only about 19 minutes of fuel on board, I don't think she'd get back very far. She'd be looking to make it across France. But anyway, less of the jokes and everything. The BF-109 E-7 is definitely worth your time in the Japanese tech tree. Simple fact. And to put it simply, this aircraft is probably one of the best premiums that I own. Obviously, it just depends on what you prefer. If you prefer a lot of ammo and 6 heavy machine guns, go to Corsair. It's a bit of a powerhouse and has 650 cals to back it up. But if you prefer more tactical gameplay with limited guns, well, limited cannon I should say, but you prefer your energy fighting and stuff like that, and a bit more maneuverability, this bird's your one. And you can get results like this pretty commonly. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's review on the Japanese BF-109 E-7, or as Sophie calls it, the Samurai Edition. And I will see you all on the next one.